Hi everybody. I made that video yesterday about choices, and in my own personal capacity I've got some questions that I'm trying to get answers to, and I thought it was relevant to the fact that I made the video on choices yesterday. And what this relates to is money, and how many of us feel like we're losers because we've been working for a number of years and we have very little to show for it. How many of us are having sleepless nights because we can't pay the bills? How many of us are feeling pressured by banking corporations to repay our mortgages or keep up with repayments or car loans or one thing and another? And because this is a subject very dear to my heart, I thought that I would expand on the video that I did yesterday about choices. And the first thing I'd like to just highlight is that when one first recognizes there are choices, for me, certainly what I found was it was quite a shock to my system to realize that actually I was responsible for my state of being. So the first time I decided that I had a choice between being miserable about an experience or finding happiness despite the experience, it shook me to the core, because I suddenly realized, oh my goodness, this is a choice. This is my responsibility. Nobody can do this for me. If I want to be happy, then I have to bypass the experience and choose to be happy. And the realization that I was responsible for me kind of shook me to the core. So that was the first thing. But then one can recognize after that, once one realizes one is responsible for one state of being, then that opens the door to, well, what else can I take control of in my life? Okay? And what I was talking about yesterday in choices is that if you feel yourself cornered and you just can't find a way out, it's because one's thinking is incorrect. Okay? So in this particular scenario about money and the huge problems, the massive problems that all of us around the world experience with money. I mean, I know that people have been suicidal in terms of not being able to repay their mortgages and things like that. And what I'd like to say is that we have been good little children, if you like, and we've swallowed what we've been told, and we've been told this is how banks work, and they take money from A and lend it to B, and they're highly honorable institutions and that kind of thing. And then there's the reality of the law, okay? And this is where we need to go. For those of us who feel we're complete losers with money, how we just can't ever seem to get ahead. We're pedaling as fast as we can in the rat race, on the treadmill, just to stand still. Maybe it's not because one is a loser, but because the system is designed to create that scenario. Now, whilst we're having sleepless nights, worrying about how we're going to pay our bills, because actually we're honorable people and we've signed a contract and we want to pay our bills, okay, there's another agenda going on which we are clueless about, absolutely clueless about, okay? And what I've been learning over the last year or two is about Admiralty law and how that is used to penalize us, control us, and of course the reality of what money is, what the banking system really is. Let's not listen anymore to the adverts and the publicity about what super duper chaps banks are, okay? Let's take lessons on what money is, okay? What banks actually trade in. Is it money? Okay? And then link that with Admiralty law, and one can get a huge insight into what the real problem is. It's not because you're useless with money that you have a problem. It's because there's a system, a very clever system, that we're all trying to abide by, that is absolutely impossible to do. Okay? So what I'd like to say is, you're not cornered because you're useless with money. You're cornered because you don't understand how the system works. So part of taking responsibility for the self is understanding what information one needs to acquire in order to free the mind and therefore free the self from whatever holes one finds oneself in. So what I would recommend is that you learn about Admiralty law, which I understand is a global phenomenon, and it depends on how far down the rabbit hole you want to get, but it really doesn't matter. Learn about Admiralty law. Look at people like Jordan Maxwell, look at the video Straw Man, The Nature of the Cage, look at people like Robert Menard, who's the Canadian free man, and learn about what is really happening in the law and how this affects us individually, okay? And then start doing your research on what fiat currency is all about. Do your research on what money really is. Do your research on what legal tender is, okay? Understand what promissory notes are, what bills of exchange are. And once you've done your research, hopefully you will find a way to resolve your problems without having to worry yourself sick about credit ratings, without having to worry yourself sick about how you personally, with your limited resources, have to feed the never-ending beast that is taxes, bank fees, utility bills. I mean, this is just never ending. This is never ending. Okay. So anyway, I just thought I'd put that out there. Just say that's one of the things I thought would be interesting, because I dare say quite a lot of people are suffering money issues. So anyway, that's the path I'm on, and I hope it helps you guys. Thanks ever so much. Cheers.